minute.
Now we're good to go.
Okay. So do I need to refresh? Everybody hears me? Can
Let's
I see?
let's give it a minute and let them in.
Just gonna get a minute to get the stream. Do I need to refresh, Marlon? Or like go out and come back in? Do I need to do that with my view?
You should. Let's just give it a minute and see what happens.
Okay. All right, just giving it a minute to get the live streaming where I can see you. Okay, thanks for being patient. This is live. All right, bear with us. Okay, so again, we're pausing the past to fast forward the future. So just rewinding 2025's timeline. And this is going to, okay, I see, yeah. Juan, welcome. I see you now. I couldn't see you all, but Marlon fixed everything. He got me all together. Okay, hello. Welcome as you come in. I'm doing a rewind of just 2025. Yes, so oh, there's Karen. I see you, Karen. Sorry for it was a little glitch, but Marlon got me all fixed up. I couldn't see the feed at all. Okay, welcome, Karen. Greetings, our beautiful Harlem Sentinel. IG roller coaster, roller disco roller coaster. Hermana, welcome. Oh, it is so much to talk about, Juan. Okay, let me jump right into it because I know that when it's a replay, people tend to like get into it. Okay, as you can see from the visuals, it is a lot. I couldn't fit everything. I couldn't believe that it was so much going on this year. It's like I was there. What was I missed some of this. Tell me if you all were tuned into a lot of this. Hello, RPC Music. How are you? Happy New Yeah, we're going to do the Happy New Year. Is it a new year? Let me know. Okay. So let's go to the next slide rather. I just have some tea. Bear with me here. Just some ginger and lemon tea. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. And we're just going to get into some things because it was truly a lot. I could not believe it. How much we. Okay, so yeah, that's the one. I'm saying that we are post culture war. And the reason I say we're post culture war is that the war has already been won. And you may feel it already, and you may be witnessing some change happening on a local level. It is a global level of culture, I'll say, reset. And it's quite amazing. If you don't believe in God, I can only imagine this would have you wondering. Tina is here. Tina, I know you've observed this, Tina. Welcome, Tina. I'm so glad you're here. And it's so much hope. Like, Tina has a new grandson. And a lot of people think that because things are collapsing that, oh, why would you want a new baby to come into the world? No, people, we have to change how we view this current culture collapse. It is not doomsday for the Most High Yah's people. If you are siding with the Most High Yah, you have nothing to worry about. They put us in a psyop thinking that all of this doom and gloom was scheduled for us. the end times. And now that we're coming out of the spell, because that's what it was. It was truly a spell on our minds. And I can see this psyop in a different way than I could before, and how it was done to us, and how it wasn't that long ago, people. They did not just cook up this idea. I mean, it is a repeating cycle. Uh, and and that's what I mean. It wasn't that long ago in terms of where we can do an analysis. We talk about a root cause analysis. We can definitely look at what happened in culture. I've just begun to rewind 60 years. And 60 years has, wow, I'm seeing it really clearly, how they attacked our culture and how we can come out of this. Because it's one thing to boo-hoo, whine, and complain, about, to borrow our brother, the conservative, black conservative, how he says boo-hoo, whine, and complain. But we can do a lot of the boo-hoo, whining, and complaining about, oh, culture this, and oh, this and that. But we're now at a point that it's time to grow up. I mentioned that before. We have to grow up as people, as Christians, if you're a Christian, as Hebrews, as Americans. We have to grow up as a people, because we can't keep the victim narrative going. It's a worn out narrative. We're at a point where we're post culture war. We are on the winning side. We have nothing to fret, and we have no anxiety on this side, because we've won the culture war. You can see the manifestations of how things are turning, and it's not taking a long time. Have you noticed that? It's not taking a long time to see changes. And it's very hopeful. I am looking to the young people. They are going to take the culture to a high elevated level. I am speaking that. Hey, Yvette shines bright. Hello and welcome. So I am speaking that, and I'm saying that these young people are going to bring a renaissance about, and we're going to be amazed. Just sit back and enjoy. But I would say roll up your sleeves and get to work. Don't you want to work in the restoration? We've had in our history, they called it Reconstruction, but it truly wasn't Reconstruction. I'm seeing that in a different way. But we really truly will experience a reconstruction, a redemption. And I don't know the details, if it's going to be on this realm or are we going to go over to New Earth, because I do believe that there is another realm, if you want to say New Earth. New Jerusalem will be the city of the Most High Yah. The guru is here. Welcome, welcome. If I've missed you, oh my goodness, eavesdropper is here. Welcome. That's right. Mount Airy, Philadelphia in the house. Wow, this is awesome. So we are post-culture war. Hang on, everybody. It's about to get really good. I'm telling you. I know this, okay? It's not I believe it. I know this. Next slide. Post-culture war. We won. We won. You know, I feel like Kamala when she said, "We did it, Joe." We did it, Chatmosphere. Okay, so redeeming time. And this is time for us to engage with our imagination. I know this sounds really airy and fairy, but it is what it takes to rebuild from the ashes. If you want to say a phoenix event, if you want to call it whatever, but the Most High Yah promises beauty from ashes. And if you want to call that a phoenix energy event, you can call it what you want. But I know in when I think of a phoenix, I think of those scriptures. I will give you beauty for your ashes. And we are truly ashes here. We are ashes, everybody. Don't get it twisted. I don't care what your bank account says. We are exiled right here in this world system. We are exiles. I am starting to really see it, and I'm glad to be able to connect with people who are helping me to put together the pieces to this puzzle. But I see it so clearly that we are exiled from the good place, from the up yonder, from the, if you want to say, the middle of the world, the realm, the navel, the whatever, the Eden, east of Eden. I'll call it what you want. We are exiled. Our parents were evicted. That's embarrassing. We carry that embarrassment of having been evicted from our original home. That's crazy, isn't it, Tina? You lost a lot of time in fear, yes, and waiting on the rapture. I'm ready to redeem my time, yes. Occupy this earth until we enter that's right, our heavenly home. So that's the energy, Tina. I'm so glad you have blessed. Oh, I'm sorry. I told my brother I'm going to stop. We're working on like words we're going to edit, but you've brought me to a place of understanding, Tina, where it was the biggest pieces of the puzzle. I've already told you and Joseph, and just it was that one piece. Like I really needed that one piece to open up the other pieces to the puzzle. And now, yes, this is where we are, the redeeming time. You know how, what is it, Maxine Water? Remember Maxine, Auntie Max? She was on the floor and she was like, I'm redeeming my time. I'm redeeming my time. And, I just think of her sassiness. I know we don't like Auntie Maxine, but she is ours, okay? We can't deport her. We can't deport Auntie Maxine, okay? So we got to deal with her. And yeah, she'll be dealt with. Oh boy. Anyway, but redeeming my time is a powerful concept to think about. Redeeming time. And I have been experiencing the redemption of time because time is not linear. Again, I'm getting it. I'm speaking to myself. Okay. It's like time is not linear. And this calendar that we're on, even though we're saying Happy New Year, it's truly not a new year. And we've been psyoped in terms of time in order to put us in time in memorial. Okay, so we're in time in memorial. These people that took over and founded the old world and took it over and just corrupted everything, uh, they played with the time. It even says in the Bible they'll change the times and the seasons and everything, and it keeps you in an unnatural cycle. We can't, yeah, the guru, we will be in a bliss state when we can be aligned with the Most High Yah on his calendar and time. Okay, so yes, Juan, timepieces stop, not time. Yes, there you are. And the time is, I see the time now and the cycles of time. That's why we repeat a lot of things. We stay in the in the desert. We stay in the wasteland, wandering for 40 years. 40 years until some of us get it. It takes longer for some of us. It doesn't take as long for others. But imagination, I know that was like a corny joke that somebody told my daughter like a long time ago. What's the best nation to live in? They said imagination. But it was cute because it's something to it. Imagination is powerful. And we have to work at imagining again and imagining beauty, imagining healing, imagining solutions. And that is going to do a lot with our young people to encourage imagination. We need them to bring our culture to a renaissance level, a high ordered society and civilization where we were and fell from. We fell from a high place, very high. So let's look at the next slide, please. Thank you if I missed you. If you just, so somebody said Gregorian calendar, and then I see they changed it to the Julian calendar. What calendar are we on right now? Into the Gregorian? So, some of the things that happen, okay, we're looking at 2025. Some of the things that happen, okay, Joe Biden, at this point, when I look at him and what happened during this, it was just cuckoo time period. And I don't know what it was, but it was a lesson for sure. And I guess it seemed to split off into two timelines. And that was a crazy timeline, the Joe Biden presidency. My goodness. So let's just say Joe Biden was president of the corporation, and he gave out presidential, what are they, freedom medals, presidential medals of freedom. And I thought it was interesting, some of his selections. It says a lot, doesn't it? He gave one to Hillary Clinton. You know, at this point, if you don't laugh, you're not paying attention. Okay? Because what else are you going to do? This is actually so absurd that it is funny. Are you at a point where you can laugh now? Even though you know about, what was it? What was that stuff? Oh my goodness. What was that called? The stuff that was on the dark web. Even though you know about that stuff, and adrenochrome, and what is the other thing? Something grisly stuff. Okay, even though you know about all that and the Clinton Foundation, this right here, to see this crone, okay, this crone receive a medal of freedom of all things, you got to laugh because it is, the jokes really write themselves. Good old Sleepy Joe. He was just to think of some of the images, right? Don't you feel like someone slipped you a mushroom or something? I remember images like, remember the image of Joe and Jill and the Carters? Remember, and they're in a little room. It looks like Alice in Wonderland, and the Bidens are leaning over chairs and the Carters are sitting in, it looks like a cozy living room setup, and they're, you know, Rosalind looking just cute, and just both of them sweet little old Southern couple, and they look disproportionate to everything. Everything's out of proportion. Do you know what I'm talking about? You remember that picture? And it was like Joe is like a giant in the picture, right? That's one image that I think of, and I'm like, what the heck were they trying to tell us? And then somebody had a picture of Joe, and then inside Joe was Carter. Like Carter was inside Joe Biden's head. I don't know. just crazy. Do you remember also when Joe Biden told everybody that he had cancer? Right? No one talks about how's Joe doing. The difference with us and them, we didn't hate Joe, right? When we were, yeah, we're going to joke and stuff because that's what we do. That's American culture. We're going to joke on you. That's how we had to grow up. Everybody joked on everybody. I was joked on with my big feet. I was lanky and tall. Everybody had to be teased. So they're no different. But it's like they have to be so sensitive with their feelings. It's no fun anymore. You can't do comedy at all. But Joe Biden to me was comical. It was hysterical. Same with Kamala. I don't hate Kamala Harris. She was so effing hilarious. Did you see the lady on TikTok that used to do the Kamala skits? Dead on. You could tell she was Indian lady also. Also, did you notice what I said? Indian, East Indian, from the continent over in the East. So this woman did a dead on Kamala Harris. It was so funny. And it was a lot of comedy that was just hilarious when Kamala did the thing about the collard greens in the bathtub. Oh my God. Hilarious stuff came out of that. But it's like our culture, they didn't take the opportunities to have fun with this absurd administration. But they can make fun of Trump and it's funny. Some of it's funny though. I mean, some of the Trump stuff is truly funny, but they just can't take a joke. It's no fun. Right? Yes, she was so, who I'm talking about. She was so good. I think she was better Kamala than the real one. Exactly. I think, and then there's a Latina on TikTok who does Jennifer Lopez. Oh my God. I told her once, I said, you are better at J-Lo than J-Lo. And she laughed. It was she does J-Lo so good. And she's always talking to Benny Medina, right, Benny? Right, Benny? Right, Benny? And I am rolling, okay? TikTok is a portal. It really is. I haven't been enjoying it lately. I want to do more on TikTok. Let me know if you're on the TikToks, okay? But anyway, let me get back to, we're rewinding this so-called year, 2025. Okay, so Joe Biden, we were calling him Brandon, right? We did not hate Joe Biden, for the record. If there are any liberals looking, I don't know if you even bother anymore, but we did not hate Joe Biden. I never hated him. I felt bad. I called elder abuse. If you don't, I lost a channel over, I was actually speaking up for Joe Biden. When I saw what they were doing, as a nurse, I'm a mandated reporter. And I let it be known on all my social media that I was witnessing elder abuse. Okay. So I reported as a mandated nurse. I made my reports, and you all know I have receipts. That was elder abuse right in front of our eyes on the international stage. And they are okay with it. That's how you know that these people are truly wicked. They are so wicked. You're on the Tic Tacs. Yes, on the Tic Tacs. So another Medal of Honor freedom, presidential freedom, that Jojo Brandon gave out was to Soros's little demon spawn, Alex. Okay, that's what I said, Alex. That's my opinion, that you're a demon spawn. Okay, yeah, I can have an opinion. Okay, and I have receipts for why I think you are. I think everything about you and your dad and what you've been doing to countries to destabilize them, allegedly. Okay, and I And a lot of other people were on to you, Alex Soros and George Soros. Okay. George Soros has been uninvited from so many countries. They have figured out what he's been doing. And listen, we are on to him as well. And we're on to you, Alex. I don't care who you marry. I don't care. It's not going to be okay to continue this chaos. So Alex Soros received a presidential freedom medal. And what did he do to deserve such? I want to know. Really, 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 really. Are you kidding me? Hey, Sheridan, you're agreeing with me? I mean, come on, George Soros. A lot of Georges, I don't know, not too good. The quality, I don't know. It's an important name too, but there's a lot of bad Georges out there. By George. Okay, so then we had. Now this was terrible. They rolled out Jimmy Carter. Now, Jimmy Carter died and he was lying in state. But do you remember during the election season, they rolled Jimmy Carter out onto a lawn somewhere and they said he was voting for Kamala. He was so happy to get out to vote. He was barely alive. Do you remember? It was horrible. I was so, that's what I mean. It's like, I'm not a Democrat, but I don't hate Democrats. I don't like their policies. Them as people, I could call them on the BS, but and the wickedness and stuff if it's some receipts on it, but I call it on all sides. Everybody. Nobody should be a sacred cow. But they're so hypocritical. Like, really, it's terrible, the hypocrisy. I see why Jesus Christ did not like hypocrites. If you recall, those were the main, they were the main ops for Jesus, were the hypocrites. And I can see why. Hypocrisy is terrible. It's a terrible character trait, toxic character trait. And so Alex and his father have been running roughshod over our culture and influencing our culture in a negative, harmful way, in my opinion. So yeah, we lost Jimmy Carter and he lived a long life. I think many of us thought of him as a kind man, a good man. A lot of people expressed that maybe he was too good to be a president. And that says a lot. If you're too good to be a president, maybe we need to reevaluate a lot of things. Like, come on. So he was just too good. He was a peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia. Hey, Just Joy. Oh my God, welcome. You said Jimmy is one of them too. Okay, Just Joy. I'm not going to argue that. I know I have heard that he went to the Bohemian Grove, right? I think I've heard that. My father's name is George, mine too. And he has been evil in many ways during his life. Oops, so I agree on the, wow, Tina, you and I have a lot in common, more than I thought. Wow. Oh my goodness, when we get together and have some tea, boy, it's going to be a great convo. So yeah, Jimmy is one of them. He was in the club, huh? Love you too, Just Joy. Thanks for coming by. Love it. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. I've been marinating on the slides. You don't mind, right? You don't mind. Okay, so I'm not going to get into this too much. So, for lack of me really knowing the facts, but this was the year we had an assassination that rocked the culture, rocked the international culture. And it's a lot of moving parts. Personally, I have not been engaged with this story enough to have an opinion. a real good opinion. I have been occasionally skimming through comments and maybe looking at titles of videos, especially around the time that it happened. One thing I will say, we are living in such a small world. Even though they say it's a big world, it truly is a small world. You never know how many people you're going to be connected to. It's baffling. But this story is very strange. It's like every psyop that we've gone through. It has that whole mystique of the JFK assassination and all of the moving pieces and narrative changes, right? Sheridan, you're saying I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was until I found out he was unalived. A lot of people weren't, they weren't a part of that. It was a culture, a political, younger crowd, I have to say. Turning Point USA. If you weren't a part of that algorithm, you could say it would have been just something you weren't. I heard about him. I knew his name. I may have heard sound bites, but I didn't know enough to have an opinion. And of course, I know about Candace Owens, and Candace has been making a lot of moves in the culture. She's been uncovering investigative journaling, some big headlines and breaking stories. Candace Owens was the one that broke the story about Kamala Harris and her lie about her origin, Genesis story out of Jamaica or whatever she was trying to say. Her grandmother was a black lady, but it was really a white lady or a white passing lady. And um, Candace covered that really well. Okay, so she blew the spot up with that. And she talked to family members in the US, and it was crazy. Okay, so she broke that story. She broke the Brigitte Macron story about Brigitte Macron, and I don't know, it was like a lawsuit, and I don't know what's going on. It's like nobody's talking about it now. It's really weird, and you've heard about everything. So then Charlie and her, and then Charlie's wife and her, Erica Kirk. I don't know about Erica Kirk. I just know she looks like a lot of the girls I went to high school with when I lived in the South. When I went to Southwest DeKalb for high school, all the girls looked like Erica Kirk. I'm just saying. They were just like, they look like a bunch of Erica Kirks. So I'm just saying, like, she looks like a Southern belle to me. Like, I don't know. So I don't know any more about her. And that's why I've just not been tuned in very well, I'll say. You said, how do they have his place set out for a memorial? How many weeks before he died? His place set? I don't know. Let me know what you mean by that. I've heard a lot of weird stuff. Like I said, it's a small world also, but we've had recently in this timeline, we've had Nicki Minaj start to make different moves in the culture and the political sphere. And she just stepped up for the Christians in Nigeria. She went to speak on their behalf at the UN. And also she went to Turning Point, I guess, and sat on the stage with Erica Kirk. So they say her fans are crazy right now, crashing out, mad at her. They feel betrayed. Then you have a lot of voices of reason saying she didn't betray you. People have the right to change their mind and have their own thinking. It's like that's what I'm talking about. People are saying, grow up, everybody. You can't be a fan, which means you're fanatical, which means a mental illness. Anybody who is that fanatical about a celebrity, that is not healthy. And we have to start to heal our minds and start to pull away, and that's what we're doing. I mean, it's that's part of what I'm saying, what I'm witnessing. We're pulling away from celebrity culture, and celebrity culture has collapsed pretty quickly. There is social proof that celebrity culture has collapsed. It's not even on life support. It has collapsed. No autopsy. Oh, really? No autopsy? Oh. Um, hey, Roll, you says, then I want a mansion and a yacht. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is the year that a lot of the woke ideology has come to an end. And woke means leftist, progressive, Marxist, communist, socialist, feminist, black liberation theology, um, anything, all the isms. Did I miss feminism? Just especially feminism. I am really seeing feminism in a way that I already can't stand feminism, but I am seeing, wow, how this was done, like I told you, and I'll speak more to it, but I don't want to spend too much time on each subject because there's a lot that I couldn't even cover everything, of course. But we're watching the collapse of this color revolution, and this is part of what George Soros has done in the nations around the world to start these color revolutions. You always see the fist in the air, and it's all the rebellious. It's a rebellion against God, against the Most High Yah. Plain and simple. That's what all of this is. It's just packaged in a way that it's an identity that comes along with a code of conduct and how to think and behave and dress, and it's a culture. It's a cult, really, too. And these are little factions, all of it the same rebellion from the Garden of Eden. The reason why we are exiled today is because of all of this. That's what I mean about time not being linear. It is cyclical. We keep making the same mistakes. We just do it with different packaging and branding. So this DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're not doing this anymore, people. This is insanity. And I almost got caught up in this crap. I know somebody that wanted me to go to one of these like fast pressure cooker classes like Brown University and take these classes so we could do this consulting. And basically it's like shaking down corporations. And it's terrible. It's a form of it's parasitical to live like that, and to have to get your money that way. It is horrible. I've already had to cleanse myself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka for working with big pharma. I talk about it. I don't hide it. I don't try to clean it up. I worked in big pharma for too long, and that is an evil, wicked empire. And I call it out. Okay, I was involved in it because I thought it was the thing to do. Oh, everybody's so impressed in my family. You're doing everything for everybody else. So yeah, this stuff is over. And it is so annoying. And the people that talk in these languages, that it's like they are insufferable now. When I listen to them, it's the victim mentality. It's the oppression. Everything is from the oppressed, and it's not true. It is very, it is impossible to prove oppression in America, truly. Come on. We're at a point now where it looks like it's so performative. Everybody that does it looks like theater kids, right? That was Kamala Harris's entire campaign. Her campaign was run by theater kids. That's why she lost. Theater kids. We have created, a lot of theater kids, and they need help. They need help badly because they're not living in a reality, and it's not compatible with American culture. So we're going to have to help them. We can't discard them. They're here. They're ours. I'm not talking about immigrants and illegal immigrants. I'm talking about our crazies, our homegrown loon balls, as Forno Fame calls a loon ball. Our loon balls. We got to help them. And I'll talk about how we can help them. Next slide, please. I love you too. I love you too, Urbana. So what do we have? Next slide. Okay. This was funny. Oh no, is this where we are? Oh, okay, yeah. So President Trump, he slapped those tariffs on these people that were taking advantage, these other nations, taking advantage of our kindness. Because that's what it's been. Foolishness, but kindness. We allowed China to grow into a super power, super manufacturing block empire. We gave China like everything to build themselves up, and now their citizens are, some of them are flourishing, but they have their own issues. I don't always like to make it seem like they live in a perfect society, because they have their issues. And one of their issues in China, and this is why it doesn't pay to be dirty, to operate in scammy, dirty ways. It doesn't end well, okay? So yeah, China had a good run, okay? We saw, because we've been rewinding, we saw how Nixon, he set their play up for them, right? And they gave us some pandas and all this symbolic BS. And we allowed them, and I've been to China, so I've seen it, and I've met people that told me what China used to be like in the 70s even, and how we literally enriched them as well as other nations, and we turned we turned a blind eye to their human abuses, their human rights abuses. We turned a blind eye because of the cheap manufacturing. So all their fast fashion, it's crap. Temu, all the Temu stuff, it's growing old. People are beginning to shun fast fashion. The young people on TikTok, they're educating themselves, they're educating others on fast fashion and overconsumption, and some of them are getting it. But then there's a segment that, they have every color Stanley Cup, and they do these holiday baskets full of thousands of dollars of gifts, and they go to their dorms and have a decorator come in. You've seen this trend, the Ralph Lauren old money Christmas, just delusional. And a lot of the young people are calling it out, and they're changing, they're repenting. They don't want to go down this road of emptiness. My generation ate this stuff up. All the designer handbags, okay? I hung out with a bunch of women that judged you on your handbag. And I always rebelled. I rebelled against their handbag culture. My friends would have to force me almost to carry a handbag. Jennifer, carry this, please. I don't want my friends to see you with that. I have some hippie bohemian bag, something I made. They're like, no, you have to carry my Louis and my Gucci and my this and that. And one of them explained that you're judged at the door by your handbag. But the funny thing is, plot twist, China, who makes 80% or more of all the luxury items, they're making all of the luxury, mid, and low quality stuff in the same factories by slave labor. And you want to carry a purse around made by slaves and try to floss on people, and really, if somebody bought a knockoff in the same factory and just had like some janky label, but it's all made in the same factory, what is the flex? What is the flex? How are you any better than anybody? And by children. Yes, by children. Child labor. Like, really, how can you be so arrogant and come into a place and feel like you're going to judge another woman because she doesn't want to play the handbag game with you? But guess what? I'm so glad to the Most High Yah, praises to him, that he collapsed that whole culture. Now you all look like stupid fools because the luxury goods market is collapsing. Thank you to the Most High Yah for collapsing it. Because it was based on mean girl culture, flex culture, fake culture, cruel culture. And it's over. You can see how also JoJo Brandon, he gave Anna Wintour, who is known as the Devil Wears Prada, she got a presidential medal of freedom. What did she do, right? Freedom. Okay, so, yep, China has tariffs slapped on them, and then they tried to retaliate on us and slap tariffs on us. Too bad your Temu janky stuff is going to go to the wayside, and we're going to start manufacturing our stuff. We're going to start sewing our stuff here. We're going to start having young people make stuff. Okay? We don't need your stuff in China. We're going to have better quality because we always have had better quality. Better dyes. We need dyes that don't pollute the atmosphere. In China, they do that fast fashion and those dyes, and people wonder why they have all the illnesses on their skin, all the eczema and other contact dermatitis, because you're wearing all this stuff from Temu, all of this low frequency plastic crap, and you wonder why everybody is out of balance. It's no wonder. Of course we have high mental illness. Of course. Duh. Next slide. Right? Duh. How are we not like supposed to be in balance with all this stuff against you? And that's not to mean like, yeah, it's not we're all victims to this stuff. But now we're waking up and now it's over. This stuff is going away. Next slide. Minnetonka. We got to talk about Minnetonka. Now, the irony about these handbags in this past year, this year, the highest grossing auction for the Birkin bag. Okay. Of course, do you know about the It Girl from that 60s time period that I love so much? Like, I love this mod culture, fashion aesthetic. So she came up, Jane Birkin was her name. So she was hot model of the times, and anything she did, people wanted to emulate it. So she carried a bag around, and she became the muse for whoever made this bag. But see, this is the psyop to the whole thing. You can look at Jane Birkin, and she looks like a cool chick. She looks like the kind of chick I would definitely have talked to in a coffee shop back in the day, right? And had a talk about conspiracy theories, probably, right? She'd probably tell me about mushrooms and all of that. Yeah, cool chick. But if you notice in the pictures, she's carrying a basket, just like something you have in the garage. I have tons of these baskets everywhere. So she has a basic basket, and she's carrying it as her handbag. And that's her vibe. So how I listen, Birkin girls, because I am really lost and I did not take the time to look this up. How did we get from her carrying a natural fiber basket to now a Birkin bag that sells for, hold it. It was it Sotheby's, if I'm not saying it, Sotheby's. The original Birkin bag, it's sold in the auction at Sotheby's for $10 million. So I think if you try to buy one of these bags, you have to first off be on a list, and you have to be invited to even purchase one of these bags. And it's very elitist. It's very ridiculous. I said it. Remember when Martha Stewart came to court with a Birkin bag? She made those people so mad. I think that's why they really wanted to throw her in jail. Remember, she came in with a Birkin bag. She's like, she doesn't give any F's, okay? You could just tell she's really mean. That's what I liked about her. You could tell some mean girls I kind of tolerate. I don't know. I always liked Martha Stewart. She was funny to me. I didn't take her seriously. Okay. Anyway, and I liked her after she came out of jail. I loved her so much more. She had chilled out so much. Remember, she was crocheting up at Camp Cupcake. My father was in that federal prison up in Camp. He was at Camp Cupcake. Isn't that crazy? My dad was there for like 18 months. But anyway, Martha Stewart was at Camp Cupcake crocheting for like her black friends. She had like black girls she was hanging out with. She was making ponchos. Do you guys remember that? That was so funny. I loved it, okay? And I loved when she came out hanging out with Snoop Dogg. It was just funny, ridiculous, funny, right? Yeah, her and Snoop Dogg cooking in the kitchen, and oh my goodness. Okay, so again, back to Jane Birkin. The Birkin bag. Again, if you're invited to purchase this bag, I think it might start at 30,000. If anybody knows, let me know in the chatmosphere. How much is a Birkin bag? Okay. So they even gave Jane Birkin one of these Birkin bags that they created, and look at how she carried it. It's like, I think I remember reading that she stuffed it just like a basket. She didn't care. She wasn't into this elitism. You can look at her, and even from the picture, you can pick up her frequency that she's not into this stuff. Am I wrong, or do you pick it up too? She has it overstuffed. It looks like she has a sticker of Frida Kahlo. She's totally like she's either trolling people, which I think I would do if I was like one of these kind of chicks, like her from the 60s. I'd be trolling the elite people, right? I troll them now. It's fun. Anyway, next slide. Let's next slide. So that's Jane Birkin, if you guys wanted to know. Now, who's this lady? Anybody know? All right, this lady is one of the Waltons. In fact, her name is Alice Walton. One of the names that is my least favorite in the whole world. Alice, okay? So her name is Alice Walton of the Walton family that owns, they own Walmart. So look at her. You could tell she's a blast. I could tell she is a blast. If you walked into that art gallery and you sat down with old Alice over here, she would tell you stories that would make you, I would blush, okay? I could tell she has stories. Can't you look at her and tell? I would blush, everybody. Alice looks like she has lived a life or two. I love the fashion. I could tell she's very colorful. But she built a medical school in Arkansas. I'm going to have to ask Marlon if it's a good medical school. Would he trust a doctor that graduated from the Alice L. Walton School of Medicine in Arkansas? They say that the first 5 graduating classes, their tuition was comped by Alice. So that's good, right? If you were one of the first 5 classes, you had your tuition comped. So she's so rich. These are the Walmart people. So this is the kind of money this lady has. Unreal money. So yeah, I can't even imagine what else is going on with Alice in Wonderland. And she's Alice in Walmart land. I can only imagine. Okay. I would never want to be like somebody that had to be her staff, maybe. She doesn't look like she takes a lot of crap off of people either, of course, right? So, yeah, she has a medical school. Alice, I hope you're graduating some doctors that'll be into functional regenerative medicine, because that's where we're going, Alice. Okay, we're not staying in the allopathic sick care. Okay, the young people, you're not going to be able to continue to use them and take their minds and train them to be doctors in allopathic Rockefeller bullshit. We need regenerative, real good hearted doctors, physicians that work on preventative medicine, not to make money. Next slide. So this year we've also lost a lot of people. And these two hit around the same time, close to each other, I think. If I'm wrong, let me know. It seemed like they were maybe a couple of weeks apart, but they were iconic culturally for America, for a lot of people growing up in the Gen X to even the boomers loved these shows. The young boomers and Gen X and even millennials would maybe watch reruns. I can't say it, reruns. And the show she was on had a guy named Rerun. And yeah, Danielle Spencer, who was a veterinarian, she passed away, and she had a lot of complications. From what I understand, she was involved in a car accident and her health was never the same. She had to use a walking device, like crutches or something for mobility. and she just started having other health issues. And it sounds like it was a lot more going on, if you know what I mean, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on. But you definitely need to put your tinfoil hat on when you look at Malcolm Jamal Warner's death, who played Theo on the iconic Cosby Show. He died this year. His death is extremely suspicious. And there are a lot of citizen journalists who are doing great research into his death, and pretty much, I think they've cracked the mystery. If you ever want to check into that, there's one channel called Paperwork Party, and he does investigations on all the sus murders, unalivings, and all of that. Paperwork Party. He pretty much figured this one out, and it's not good. Not at all. Very unfortunate. So, yeah. Next slide. Now, let me tell you about this, people. I don't know about you, but when I looked at this and I heard about Ozzy having a concert and everything. I used to watch the reality show, The Osbournes. It was really like culturally, it was different. It was very, very I'll say clever culturally. So I watched the reality show and got a feel for their narrative. I knew about Ozzy. I didn't like Ozzy's music growing up. I thought he was way too dark for me. I liked a lot of the headbanger music, but he went way too dark, okay? He was Vanta Black. He was very, very dark. So it was a little too much for my taste. But, okay, biting the head of a bat and all, just too much. And but this was fascinating to think about. Ozzy Osbourne, he went out in the very same style that he lived his entire life. And you can't say that for a lot of people. Like, he really stuck to the bit, as they say. I'm amazed. Like, he didn't deviate from the script at all. He stayed true to his whole like persona, whatever was going on here, the Prince of Darkness stuff. But think about what they are naming his last. He did a final concert. And for him being into this really darkness, you have to think about he had an opportunity to go out in his own way. He had time. He actually used his days accordingly. He had a concert. I think he handed off his dark spirit, his Sasha Fierce spirit, whoever was driving his car. He handed it off to a young Ozzy kind of dude, I think. And he had all these bands, Black Sabbath, which was his original. He had Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, what is it? Hellstrom, Alice in Chains, Mastodon, Anthrax, Lamb of God. Look at the names. What? Gojira? What the heck? So they all performed this was basically Ozzy's almost like a pre-funeral, like the party before his funeral. And it's named Back to the Beginning. That's really deep. Back to the Beginning. So he had a final show. And look how the back of the backdrop says the end. And again, it's pretty sad when a person that's supposed to be dark and evil can live their life at the end and be honored by their culture, by their community. He was honored, and he got a chance to go out like the darkness that he was all about. I'm like, hey, you know what? I may not agree with it, but I gotta respect it. I got to. I just, for me, I was like, wow. I mean, hey, my dad's wife, she cremated him and he was a Catholic. She gave my dad no funeral, no honor whatsoever. Like he was never even alive. And then I think about Ozzy Osbourne had a more honorable departure, you know? So it just goes to tell you, we can judge things, but sometimes even the so-called wicked people can live by a code, by a law, and they can be a law unto themselves. And you do have people that they practice Luciferianism, Satanism, but they say things like they wouldn't do certain things, like they have a code of conduct even. And they make like Christians look bad, even atheists. There's some atheists that live more godly than church people. And you know, these kind of people like Ozzy and stuff, they don't scare me. I've gotten on airplanes where it was like a couple, they were into all the dark, you know, stuff, the black nails, and they had the pentagram, silver pentagrams, and they were sitting in the aisle that I was sitting, and they thought that I was going to be afraid to sit next to them. I sat down, how you doing? Listen, we chit chatted the whole flight. They were surprised that I wasn't afraid of them. But they look ridiculous to me. I'm not afraid of them. I feel bad for them. A lot of them. A lot of them are really hurt. They've been hurt by the church, a lot of them. A lot of them. So let's see the next slide. So now we have the Ozempic craze and Wegovy. So the scientists that founded these weight loss medications that were really supposed to be for diabetic disorders, they were honored with this award called the Breakthrough Prize. And the Breakthrough Prize in Science. Look at how that remember like they had those shake mixie cups that you put that little metal thing in so you could shake your whatever smoothie. That's what it looks like. So they received the awards for coming up with Wegovy and Ozempic. So there you go. The cats play with, actually, there's one of those mixy things. It looks just like that, and the cats play with it. It's always all around, and I see it. So yeah, it looks like that award. So we have a sweet moment you can see with Kelly Osbourne and her dad. And even though they were into this darkness, they portrayed a family unity and love again, qualities that some church people don't even exhibit. There you go. Next slide. Okay, so the Sackler family and Purdue Pharmaceutical, they had to settle for many, many millions of dollars for their role in the OxyContin crisis in our nation. This family, think about this. They're called the Sackler family. And they knew exactly what OxyContin was doing to people. They didn't care. They were into their filthy, greedy, just grubby hoarding of wealth. Disgusting, like soulless people. Look at them. They look like ghouls. So can you imagine being born into this bloodline, the Sacklers? They're cursed. They're absolutely cursed. I don't even have to go into what's going on with them. I know that in these kind of families, like the couple at the top, I know they enjoyed that wealth. They lived like high on the hog. They probably treated their staff like dogs. They probably talked to people like filthy, looked down on everybody. They didn't care. They were just, I could see them at their fancy parties and things, and I could see her talking to her housekeepers like a dog. I could just see it. It's the vibes that are coming off of these people, right? And they have this ill-gotten gain. And that generation that they're a part of, they're the only ones that are going to enjoy it because their progeny are going to be cursed. So what happens is they got a bunch of bratty offspring that inherit all that ill-gotten money. And all it does is it brings them to destruction. They end up destroying themselves. They do not enjoy the money. The second generation doesn't. Do you know what? I mean, am I making this up, or have you observed it, or have you lived it yourself? Because I have observed it. The first generation that makes the money are the ones that enjoy it. But then again, they don't really enjoy it. Not the men, because all they do is work, most of them. They're in the office doing whatever they're doing. And they don't really enjoy it because then they know that they have to look over their shoulder a lot. They don't trust people because, they're a den of vipers. They're snakes. They don't trust each other. They turn on each other. They just keep a certain code so that they can keep power. But they have a lot of infighting going on. We see the infighting going on with the elites. We see the factions. And I know people think that they're acting like they're fighting. I believe that they have real beef. Some of them have real fighting going on. So the Sackler family, I know that the offspring are going to suffer. And their name is now known. They're not going to get away with the OxyContin crisis. Their children are going to have to change their names. Like, how are you going to even go around other people? They're going to have to stay hidden. They're going to have a lot of mental problems. It's not worth it. And look, they're taking the name off of buildings. They give endowments and things so they could have their names on these buildings. And their name is now trash. The Sackler, Arthur K. Sackler Center for Medicine. Now they're taking his name off. So there it is, no legacy for them. Nobody who got their wealth from ill-gotten manner, no one will have a legacy. None of them. Period. Next slide. They really think that they were going to get away. Now, okay, so this was interesting. We have lots of heroes and different people that rose to the occasion in this year. We have Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is now at the helm of our HHS department, and he is really fighting the evil empire of Big Pharma and Big Food. And he's making a lot of strides, lots of victories. He's fighting against some really dark forces, but he comes from the Kennedy family, which has a curse on them. And that happens in our families. I believe that my family has a curse also. I'm not speaking like I'm looking down on his family. I can relate. I believe the Washington bloodline has had a curse. So the Kennedy bloodline has had a curse on them. And, members like Robert, he is fighting a lot. And his family attacks him. He's the black sheep. It's the same archetype. And his health has been attacked. But he keeps fighting because this is his assignment. It's powerful assignment. Then we have Tom Holman, who heads up ICE. And he doesn't play any games when it comes to this foreign invasion of our nation. And he is part of the deportations that are happening that I look at on Twitter X. Truly amazing work. And if you want to get hired by ICE, they're doing, I think, huge bonuses, like maybe $50,000 to work for ICE. Even if you're retirement age, they're looking at people retirement age. So if you want to do a great work for your nation, consider looking into ICE. So yeah. So we have also Kendrick Lamar. He was the halftime music group talent whatever for the halftime show, and he did the um, They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us. And Venus Williams was out there doing a crip walk, right? Remember Venus was out there crip walking and it was so cringe. Oh my God, Venus. So she was crip walking and like, they not like us. They not like us. They not. And that became like a meme. You couldn't get it out of your head, right? It was everywhere on the TikToks. So They Not Like Us became a cultural juggernaut, and it's a lot behind it all. It was targeted to Drake, and it's a whole lot we could talk about with it. It leads to Diddy and Jay-Z and that crowd, and it's just all very interesting. But I'll just say that the They Not Like Us being uttered also had other meanings, because in 2025 there was a delineation of the foundational Black Americans, as they call themselves, where they delineated and made the ethnicity and the cultural claim in America, made it very clear. So it's a whole lot to say for They Not Like Us. It's a lot I could get into. Hey, 420 Wild Dragon is here. Welcome. Let's go to the next slide. We're bringing in this so-called new year. When is it? When is the new year? Hold it. Let me see. When is this so-called new year coming in? So it's tomorrow is tomorrow is so-called New Year's Eve. Okay, so we're doing our retrospective early. Okay, all right. So we have the most bizarre thing happen this year that I didn't hear about. Tell me if you heard about this. They had a will from the 1600s. Okay, this is supposed to be Shakespeare, William Shakespeare's will from 1642. Can you believe this? You talk about a psyop. I can't believe it at this point. I laugh at this point, but they said that this year they found a will from the year 1642 of Shakespeare. And it was a family feud that they had over a legal battle over a home found after 150 years in an unlabeled box at the National Archives. So they had a family feud in the Shakespeare family. So what was their last name? Shakespeare? Can anybody read the will? Let me know if you can decipher this will. Tell me what it says. Throw it in Chat GPT for me. But can you believe that they are trying to tell us that William Shakespeare's family had a dispute in 1642 over the will? Okay, so funny. Next slide. Crazy. So this was also interesting on this timeline. They say that it was a lot of sunken cities found. Do you hear what I'm saying? Did you hear about the sunken cities that they have been discovering? And it makes me think about, of course, the cataclysm, the global cataclysm, the, what do they call it? The extinction event that happened, the flood of Noah, a lot of things going on. So they found a sunken city off of the coast of Alexandria this year, and they found another sunken city. Where was that one? I'm trying to wait. I'll find it. I'll tell you about it. So it was a few sunken cities. So let's go to the next slide. All right, this was interesting. Okay, check this out. They found a steamship made from steel. That's when America was manufacturing the best stuff, the steel industry, the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so they found the Great Western. And they say that this ship, this steel steamship, sank in 1892. So they found the shipwreck in Lake Superior. And I want to say, who were the people on this steamship? I have some theories that I'm working on, and I believe that they were sinking a lot of ships full of foundational Americans that were heirs to the estates here in America. I believe that they were getting on these steamships, and they were sinking a lot of them, certain of them. And I have a theory based on, I have family that used to travel by steamship. They would go to Europe back in the 1800s. So I'm speaking from some stuff that I'm putting together. But I believe that they sank certain people. And yeah. So they found that steamship in Lake Superior. Also, they found, but the fastest Atlantic crossing was by the SS United States. That's the other ship you see right here. And it departed out of Philadelphia this year for its final voyage. And I think that's really deep that it departed out of Philadelphia, because Philadelphia used to be where they built a lot of the ships, the shipyard in Philly. One of my great grandfathers worked down in the shipyard. So the history is really like, now I'm really into it. And they also had the Philadelphia experiment. And I've heard some real interesting theories about the Philadelphia experiment. Maybe I'll talk about that at another time. We could drill down on some of these subjects. So let's, so the SS United States that departed out of Philadelphia this year for its final voyage, it now is the world's largest artificial reef. So they sailed it so it can then sink to become an artificial reef, the largest one in the world. Is that interesting? Can someone decode that for me? It was the SS United States departing out of Philadelphia this year, final voyage to become the world's largest artificial reef. That's weird. Is that not weird? Okay. Paint, Dance, Live. Welcome. Thanks for coming by. And Miss Harris is here. Oh my God, Miss Harris, my John. I've missed you. Welcome. Okay, let's see the next slide. Next slide. Thanks for hanging out, for doing our New Year's rewind. So this was interesting. This year they found the bones of an Arctic explorer. Now he was exploring Antarctica in the 1960s, and they just found his body, the bones, His remains were frozen in a glacier that was melting. Can you? Interesting, right? So they found his remains, and they said he was really into the Antarctic research. He loved huskies. And yeah, so I wonder what his research entailed. And also, it lets me know that they were really actively researching um, very recently and continue to. It's a lot that we have yet to learn, and that is all beginning to open up. This is the time we're going to learn about the North Pole more. We're going to actually go, some of us. I'll talk about that another time. Antarctica, everything. We're going to find out about these narratives and myths and things and how they connect to biblical scholarship, biblical narratives, things that have been hidden. But it's not a salvation issue. Um, a lot of us, God is sovereign, and He is not. He's omnipotent. He's in control. So we don't have to worry that things have been hidden or whatever. God has allowed us to have certain things that we had to search it out, right? It says that it is honorable, and kings they need to search matters out, right? So it's wonderful having intellectual curiosity. And that's part of the imagination, imagining other parts of the world and the realms that we have been under mind control, that everything is off limits. Some things are off limits, I believe. Eden, we were exiled and evicted from Eden. So until we are allowed into Eden, that's another conversation. All right, so let's look at the next slide. All right, so now I love this. This is in Philadelphia. The Alexander Calder, it's an immersive experience. So outdoor gardens and indoor sculptures. And I personally love the work of Alexander Calder. I don't know if you do. I just do. I love mobiles. And actually, I have an idea. I'm going to do a piece of work, and I'm going to make a mobile. I've been talking about doing it, but I need to do something creative like that. Maybe I'm going to use I have some inspiration when I look at this Alexander Calder. Does anybody else like the work of Alexander Calder? So it's called Calder Garden. So it's in Philadelphia. If you are in the area and you want to check it out, let me know. Keep me posted. Okay. All right. So that's for a little bit of culture. Next slide. And I love this because train traveling is going to begin to open back up. And that's all part of the right frequency that we're going to be on, where you can slow down and you can travel and not have to drive all the time and just have a languid trip and stay in a cabin inside the train and just have a different experience for going across the country, up and down. We're going to be able to explore this country and have a good time. And they used to have routes, regular routes, like you could go from Philadelphia to Detroit, like a regular train. That's how it used to be. And they're going to start to pick these routes back up. And it'll be wonderful when you think about it to travel by train. So they have the next gen trains. So the next generation of trains are the Acela models. So Amtrak has the Acelas, and you might want to start looking into packages, because I believe Amtrak is going to flourish and grow, and think about Amtrak having vacation packages and just you could see the national parks. I mean, it'll be amazing, okay? So just look out for that. The next gen trains, Acellas, okay? And they are bullet trains also. So you're going to get to your location very fast, okay? We're talking magnets and all kinds of. My dad loved trains. He used to collect, and build train sets. So that was something that we loved. So let's look at the next slide. Yeah, Orient Express. Yes, we're going to have our own high elite type of travel. Oh, okay. So this year they had the Epstein coloring book. I didn't know about the Epstein birthday book. Really weird. That was released this year. I haven't been paying attention to the Epstein stuff because I gave that a lot of energy back in 2020, like what 2016, I guess, or whatever, 2017. And at this point, it's nothing left to prove, to argue. We're now at the finding out part, okay, of the F around part of the equation. We're at the finding out part. So listen, this is a piece of cake for the people that are not caught up in it, because this is a reckoning. This is the season of a reckoning. Nobody escapes the reckoning. So so-called Prince Andrew, he had his titles stripped, but I don't believe that those are actual titles anyway. I don't believe in this monarchy at all. So they're fake anyway. But he thought that he was going to use his titles and power to escape consequences. And as a brand, as a business, this was a bad look for them. They couldn't spin this any other way. I don't know if they hired Meghan Markle to try to take attention away, because from what I understand, Meghan Markle may have known Andrew, maybe a yacht party or two. I don't know. Allegedly, I've heard things. So I don't know. I'm just starting to wonder, like, Meghan Markle is so absurd. She is so funny. I discovered Meghan Markle. Remember, I've been telling you guys, I'm in the Meghan Markle algorithm, and she is a loon ball, okay? But she is a fun kind of loon ball. She's funny too. She reminds me of Kamala Harris. Like, both of them are just chaos monsters and just hilarious, okay? Just do not read the room. Just totally malignant narcissist, in my opinion, and just actually comical at the same time, because the lack of self-awareness is kind of comical in some people. But like Meghan Markle is starting to make me wonder, like, she plays that, like, this has to be a role. She can't be serious. Can she? I wonder. So I got this like theory. I can't prove it yet, but I'm saying I think Meghan Markle is in on this. I think she's with the white hats and she's bringing the family down. She's working on our side, really. These are just things I have fun thinking about. I don't know, but she's very entertaining in not the way that she wants to be. Definitely not. She thinks that she's like on the level of Princess Di. So there you go. Next slide. Gotta love it. So in this year, they had the Napoleonic jewels. Did you know about these? The Napoleonic. Okay. In the Louvre over in Paris, some thieves that were dressed as construction workers. Are you listening to this so-called narrative? So some thieves that were dressed up as construction workers, they went in broad daylight, and they stole the Napoleonic jewels. Over $100 million in the broad daylight, everyone. But I didn't know about these Napoleonic jewels. What is this all about? So Napoleon, when you think about it, it's like this is what I'm talking about. Time. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I want to talk about something. Where you can hang out for a while, right? We're gonna hang out a little late. This is so-called New Year. Hang out with me, guys. I got a few more things I want to cover. We're getting there. Okay, so I want to look up something real quick. Give me a minute. Talk amongst yourself. Okay, Napoleon. Can you believe this? Napoleon. Are you kidding? Napoleon, and okay, I want to do something. What do you call that? When you are someone's. Okay, bear with. Okay. I want to bring up this particular thing. Okay, so Napoleon was supposedly alive. His lifespan was 1769. So think about that, to 1821. So he lived during these revolutionary, of course. But I'm just saying, like, think about that. The people that were alive when he was alive, that's what I put in the search. I wanted to find out who were some of his counterparts. But it was a lot of people we think about, right? So the French Revolution, I want to talk about that at another time because I'm putting together some theories I'm starting to see coming out of time immemorial, thinking about, see, because we look at paintings of Napoleon and it always seems like it was further away in history. But really, it was not that long ago that this so called Napoleon existed. And the jewels, they said that he funded his empire with these jewels. So there were a lot of jewels, and it's very curious as to how, you know, they've kept all these things. But nonetheless, it's a reckoning even with all of this stuff. All of these nations are going to have to figure it out and sort it out. All the museums are going to have to end up giving a lot of stuff back. I think that's how I see it. All right, so of course they got the jewels back, but just the fact that this was done. Next slide. And Anna Wintour, she stepped down. And as you know, Anna Wintour, she ran Vogue and the Met Gala. She has an interesting story. Her story is very fascinating, but she is the archetype that is behind the movie The Devil Wears Prada, which I did see it. They're trying to do remakes of it, and that's how you know that we're really at the end of this cycle, because you can't keep remaking movies, especially like that. That wasn't a movie that could be remade. You strike one time with this stuff. But it was very well done, entertaining, and tongue in cheek, you know. I enjoyed it when I watched it. Some people, it's the kind of movie that people watch over and over. It's like one of those kind of movies, you know, a girl com or whatever, femcom, whatever. So the thing about Anna Wintour, I don't think she's a nice woman, but I don't like nice, or she's not kind, I'll say. I want to stop using nice because I don't want to be nice. I want to be kind. I don't think she's kind by a long stretch. I've heard stories, and if she's like The Devil Wears Prada, she's definitely abusive. And I just think about her as a friend and a work colleague, like a monster. But I think about Vogue and fashion and some of the people that probably got stepped on. And one of them is Leon um, Talley, Andre Leon Talley in the pictures here. He and Anna Wintour were really close at one time. He's died, but I think he was really hurt by a lot of stuff and betrayed by her. But I can see, she just seems like she wouldn't be a good friend. But it's just a lot to be said for how people got to where they are and who they stepped on, possibly, allegedly, maybe. I don't know. I'm making all this stuff up in my head. I'm a writer and I think of narratives. But, just imagine what she's done to people. So, Andre Leon Talley, he gave a lot to fashion. But I think he was probably, fully aware that he was signing up to be abused just to be in the room. And that's unfortunately what a lot of people that got abused by people in these industries, they wanted to be in the room so bad that they were willing to be abused. And in the end, none of this matters. All of this fashion is all going to come to nothing. It's all garbage at the end of the day. You can't take it with you. Like I said, a lot of it is made in factories in China by slave labor. And it's terrible for our health, low frequency fabrics, low toxic, low frequency dyes. And it's time for all of this stuff to collapse. We should celebrate that it's happening in real time. So the devil stepped down from Vogue. That's something that it's remarkable. We're watching all of this stuff happen. Don't act like this is like nothing's happening. A lot is happening. Don't you agree? So let's look at the next slide. So in these images, you can see Anna. She quickly found her another friend, maybe Diddy. So she was all hugged up with Diddy and sitting next to Diddy in these high swanky, fashion shows. Diddy became a sweetheart in the fashion industry. He was definitely welcomed and celebrated by Anna, which says a lot. But, we're watching these people, they're snaking each other out. They're starting to turn on each other. And just their affiliations are becoming very damaging. And we're watching legacies just be destroyed so quickly, tarnished, beyond repair. But you can see Harvey Weinstein. But you see how Michelle Obama is at a podium and they're all loving on Harvey. You see Blake Lively, and I thought she was a nice person. I don't know. I used to like Gossip Girl. I used to watch Gossip Girl, I'm admitting. And Blake Lively, I don't know. You don't know anybody from a TV show, but good night. This woman is wicked, in my opinion. I hear she likes to sue everybody. My goodness. Can you imagine? But I don't think she's not kind, in my opinion, allegedly. So we've heard. So we're just learning a lot about these people that if it weren't for the internet, I think they'd be able to control their images a lot more. But a lot has been leaked through blind items on this Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and this lawsuit with this guy, Justin Baldoni, and over this movie and the wardrobe. It's a whole thing, people. And Popcorn Planet, I think they've tried to make him shut up and and my girl BJ from that something, what is it? That something witness, that surprise witness. I think they tried to mess with her. They tried to silence people. And that's not going to work anymore, by the way. because they can't shut off the drips that are coming out on them. The public, the citizen journalists, they can't shut everybody down, cease and desist everybody. So it's over for them. Hollywood is over. The celebrity is over. We kept declaring it back in 2020. Remember, we kept saying, oh, Hollywood is over. It really is over. We really spoke that thing into existence. I don't know if you want to say that. God heard us, the Most High Yah. He collapsed that thing. And they did it to themselves. They only have themselves to blame. Look at the Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce. Beyonce, she's now tarnished. The baby oil is on everybody. The baby oil is on everybody. Jay-Z, he can't outrun this. No amount of money, billions can outrun it. They just declared that Beyonce is a billionaire. Nobody cares. This is the wrong time to use these kind of media tricks. Nobody is impressed with billionaires. That is like the last thing you want to be known for right now, is a billionaire. They think that people are still on that frequency time. But they'll learn eventually. But they will not get the attention that they want off of materialism. The young people are turning away. It's a reckoning. So you can see Taylor Swift, even the Swiftie herself, she was all part of this little social circle with Blake Lively. Just mean girls. Next slide. So as you can see, now we have this year, it was announced that Taylor Swift is going to be marrying this guy, Travis. I didn't say his name right. I did a piece of content a couple years ago, and I kept calling him Kelsey, right? Travis Kelsey or Kels. I don't know. Whatever his name is, Travis. She is going to be marrying him. And I know a lot of people didn't believe that she was really going to get married one day, because this woman is in her 30s. And it's really kind of creepy if you think about it. I'm not saying that she's not talented, but her music was just stuck in one lane. Like, she's just belly aching and whining and complaining about being heartbroken over some guy, over some boy, calling a man a boy. She was just stuck in this teeny bopper, bubblegum drama. And it looks very weird on a woman in her 30s to be singing about these kind of things. And her fan base were really young girls. But the thing that she's running into is her fan base has grown up. So they've matured and they're beginning to outgrow her. And they're also the spell, because they've said that she might dabble in the witchy poo stuff. But her spell is breaking from a lot of young girls' minds. And if I can remember, I think her concert, they had some reports that young people were coming away and having amnesia and some kind of, cognitive changes. So whatever they have been doing to people, harnessing energy, this is going to backfire, because they've been using young people and this showgirl stuff and this beguiling personality. It's just, hopefully she will learn. And I don't know. I have hope that some of these people will be humbled, as we are all being humbled, and nobody escapes it. This reckoning is also the great humbling. Yep. So, yep. If you stay in a prostrate, prayerful position, you can't fall. Can't fall from there. Next slide. Now, people, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the bullshit. No, Blake Lively. I don't know if she invested or she owns this fashion line. Okay, have you heard about this fashion line? They go bonkers on TikTok about this fashion. It's so funny. Okay, take a look at this. It looks like something from a mental breakdown, doesn't it? It looks like somebody is on mushrooms, like the bad ones. The hero dose of some bad mushrooms mixed with some oxycontin and what else? Purple. Like what? Look at this. Blake Lively, I think she's trolling. I think this is like really mean spirited. She can't be serious, right? This is like, okay, this is like a mean girl trolling, high level mean girl trolling. So this line is called Magnolia something. And look at it. It looks like hobo clothes, right? Doesn't it? Hobo clothes. What the hell? So these are her clothes. And it's called Magnolia something. I'm just looking. I wanted you guys to just take it in with me. Look at this. This shit. This is shit. This is crazy person stuff. I'm sorry if anybody out there likes this Holly Hobby stuff, but this is the thing. Okay, don't hate me. If you like it, tell me if you like this. If you have a few pieces in your wardrobe, I'm sorry. I'm just your big sister making fun of you, okay? You can't hate me. But this looks like Holly Hobby was on some mushrooms, okay? But they say that this is like called poverty core or plantation core. So it's like she's making fun of poor people with this fashion line. Is this mean? This is mean. And this takes a lot of work to be this mean. This is, like I said, high level mean girl trolling poor people and middle class. Like, this is how she sees us. We're wearing peasant what do you, what do they call them? A smock, peasant smocks, schmatas, peasant schmatas. This is crazy. Next slide. Tell me, what do you think? Is it me? This is wild. Look at this a little bit more. They even have a guy. A guy. He's wearing some pants, some floral pants. You know we got to bring back masculinity. When a man will dress up in this stuff, that's when you know feminism is of the devil. We got to stop it. We have to put it in its hole once and for all. Feminism has to go today. Look at this man, fully cucked in these magnolia floral pants. I am done. So there you go, Blake Lively. She's a piece of work, in my opinion. All right, so she's something else. Hollywood girl. Hollywood girl. Next slide. My, oh, my, oh, my. Some of this stuff is cute, maybe. All right, so this is what this culture wants to force on us, okay? They want us to have Nepo babies, not us, but they want our grandchildren's grandchildren and great grandchildren. They want them to look up to this new crop of celebrity that they're trying to force on the culture. But it's not going to work. Don't worry. It's not going to work, okay? These are Nepo babies, and it never works hardly. It's very rare that a Nepo baby will become a sustaining celebrity or whatever. The public's, choice. It's not. That's what I was saying. Like, the first generation's wealth is enjoyed by the ones that made it, the Nepo, the heirs to lots of money, and wealth, they don't do well. They rarely do they do well. There are some exceptions. You might say Trump's children are doing well with wealth. They seem to be very balanced. You don't hear about them falling out of nightclubs drunk and all of this, like Hunter Biden and all of his shenanigans. You don't hear about this stuff with Trump's children. But the public doesn't, and see, this is the court of public opinion. They're not going to accept these new celebrities. I don't care what they do. I don't care how many things they put on themselves and alter themselves. It's going to not turn out well. And if you are a prayer warrior, you may want to pray for these children, but it's not going to turn out like they think it is. And their parents are at fault to give them this delusional idea that the public is going to worship them as the new idols. It's Kim Kardashian is an anomaly, okay? Truly an anomaly, and some good witchcraft out of Armenia, okay? That's some good witchcraft. And she is an anomaly, but her run is so unique. She can't expect lightning to hit twice in her bloodline, you know? So unfortunately, her daughter, Northwest, your girl, Northeast, she had that little rap with Diddy or something, what, right? Had her on a rap album with Diddy. Oh my God. It's so many things going on. But this child is on social media. She now has altered her look. She's piercing and colors of hair. And I know when you're young, you want to experiment, but something is really, I'm picking up something else going on here. And definitely it's important to have a father in your life. Kanye, yay. It's very important that they work this stuff out. You married the witch, so don't act like you're surprised that she has turned your child into a Hollywood Nepo baby. Come on now. Kanye cannot act surprised. He laid down with this woman and had a lot of children with her. So, it's very unfortunate. These are the consequences we all live with. This is no different from my family, your family. We have the eternal family drama. They're going through divorce and custody issues and child care and all this. Hopefully they can work some stuff out, because Northwest, I think we have this sort of parasocial thing where we kind of care about these children. We don't want them to go through a bad time. We've watched the Disney children and what they've gone through. You don't want to watch a new generation go through this like bone crushing industry and crash out later. Like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see this child later on, after all this delusion is over, be hit with reality. Her mother is setting her up. This girl needs to learn how to do something like a skill. She's very talented. How could she not be talented? She's born from a bloodline of talent. And that can be fostered and cultivated, and not for fame. She should be behind the scenes. This child has every resource. She can become like a big makeup like designer, or create something like clean makeup, or do a movie and documentary. Like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, this is sad. So we're watching it, and we could just pray for her. Pray for these children. And then you have Jay-Z out with his daughter, and she's like, what, 13 or 12? And she's beautiful, but she looks like a grown woman. This is not okay. I don't care how much you like Beyonce and Jay-Z. This is not okay. We need more people speaking out and saying, this is not okay for our culture. We have to have a renegotiation of these contracts, social contracts. And children of these celebrities, we have to let these celebrities know, no, stop doing this to your child. Your child is not going to be you. You need to steer your child in a healthful way so they don't have to absorb all of the cruel reality that's going to hit them. It's going to hit them harder than it hits us. So there you are. Craziness. These are children that aren't even like fully teenager yet. They're tweens, barely teenagers. And they probably have boyfriends and everything. Next slide. Boy, oh boy. Then we have the Diddy drops, the Diddy drops. So the Diddler has twins that are now, they're going to be influencers. And what's sad is they're choosing to go into a field that's dying. The influencer culture started dying in 2020 with the pandemic. See, the pandemic in 2020 was the real nail in the coffin for celebrity culture. If you can recall, we got to see the celebrities, they were acting really weird. I still have a lot of footage about how weird they were acting in 2020. They acted like they were stuck in their homes, like they couldn't come out, like they were really prisoners on, lockdown. And they were not putting on makeup. It's like they didn't have any tools to do a haircut or bring a barber over. So they were woofing. They had gray hair. They were looking like Father Time, right? It was cuckoo. It was like, what's going on? Taylor Swift was in this like weird room. It looked like Alice in Wonderland. Do you remember? It was like this tiny room that the furnishings, it looked like they were in, when you go on the road and you see the little sheds that they turn into little houses. They look like they were in stuff like that, or institutional backgrounds and Bizarro world. You remember they were doing like signaling to each other. Ellen was acting weird. Who was the guy? He was doing something weird, talking about shoes. Remember? They were all acting really weird. So something was definitely going on in the celebrity world. And Diddy, remember he did that weird thing? That's when he got like LeBron to say, ain't no party like a Diddy party. And he called all the celebrities and had them recorded. And I remember Diddy did a thing where he listed all these celebrities. He called out everybody's name, Oprah, this, that. I think that was like definitely a threat to them. I don't know. What was Diddy telling them? Like, I got a tape on you. Like when he felt the walls closing in. Amazing. But so we got the Diddy twins out there. They want to be influencers. They chose not to go to a trade school, a college, nothing. They want to be just pretty and get paid for being pretty and going on red carpets. Wow. And then Diddy has his little Diddy freak off twin as Jamel. If you don't know about Jamel Peterson, he's from Philly. He's a Philly John. He's so funny. He covers the Diddy stuff. Jamel Peterson. He talks about during survival, but he gives you a play-by-play on the Diddy drama. He's got it. It's so entertaining, okay? Absolutely hilarious. So we've got the Diddy dewdrops out here running amok, okay? From what I understand, 2 of the Diddy sons are going to do a documentary in our new year, 2026. So look out for that. It's going to be a doozy. Next slide. So I know I brought up all this doom and gloom, and listen, I have so much we could talk about We've already been here a long enough time, but you already know you lived this past year. This is just a little highlight, but just to wrap it up in a nice bow, I know I've given all the doom and gloom. We've doom scrolled together through these slides, right? We doom scrolled. But this is the thing. Like I said, this is a reckoning. And culture is about to become so elevated, and the young people are activated. The Most High Yah, He has this young generation. They're about to do some amazing things, okay? So we have to pray for them. We have to prepare them. We have to give them resources. Even if you can buy instruments for young people to gift them, think about those kind of things. Use your imagination. Buy a paint, like a paint set, or buy knitting needles, crochet needles, yarns. Maybe put together like creative kits and start giving them to the young people. That we have to focus on them. Okay, they are the key. And what's happening in culture right now is the grip of the Luciferians is falling, because this year they stopped a lot of the trans stuff against children, and they're starting to cut down on the, like we have Robert Kennedy who's dealing with the pharmaceuticals attack on children with vaccines, the food companies with the dyes and the high fructose corn syrup and everything else, the GMO. We are seeing progress, and it's happening at a very rapid pace, okay? But I want you to really look at all of this amazing stuff that's happening right now and this past year. And so children are going to come away from the internet like they are now. They're going to require parents to monitor their children. They're going to be responsible. So if something happens, a parent is going to be looked at. Okay, they're not going to be getting off the hook talking about, oh, this did this, and the teacher, the school. It's going to fall on the parent. So that is going to be very good for children. They're going to be kept from the internet certain hours they're going to be on. They're not going to just have full access 24/7. Also, they're taking internet access off of the telephones for children, even teenagers, and the children are actually loving it because their dopamine levels are coming back to normal, if they ever had them normalized. But these children are starting to be activated again. They're going outside, getting the sun, playing like we used to. And all they need are walkie-talkies or the flip phones. They're starting to give them the flip phones. They just don't need the internet access. So that is happening, and homeschooling is blossoming. So just think about those few changes. If we get the children to go outside and play, we're having deportations happening where our streets are starting to become safer. And children can begin to activate that imagination and start to work on their assignment, why they are here, to bring a renaissance and restoration. And they're going to usher in and be the leaders for the kingdom of Yah coming. Us coming into the kingdom. The children are going to lead. So that's why I say we have to really focus on them, because the devil has been focusing on them so much, and now his grip is fading, is breaking. If he can't have them on the internet, think about how much of his control he's losing. And that's all we need, is their influence. See, now look at all the different areas of this reckoning. The Hollywood influence. Do you remember, if you saw a clip of Puffy, of Diddy, he was saying, We control your soul. We want your soul, your children's soul. We control the culture. We control what they listen to. We control the fashion, what they wear. He knew his power. He was very arrogant. But he was talking about the soul. He knew. He said, we want your soul, the soul of your children. So if that's not the devil being channeled through him. And I remember Joe Biden, remember when they were doing his campaign and they were saying they want the soul of America. Do you remember that? So they've been telling us that they want the soul. And we have been praying and crying out to the Most High Yah. He has listened, and he is bringing about such a restoration. It is amazing. And let's all just praises to the Most High Yah for what he's doing. And I pray that he gives you all an assignment that's so exciting that you are charged up when you wake up tomorrow and every day moving forward. That you are just so, your imagination is just invigorated, you know, you are just a new creation, and you will bring about new creation, healing, restoration, okay, regenerative, all of those good things. So, yes, thank you, Paint, Dance, Live. The Most High Yah, the kingdom of the Most High Yah. Yes, his kingdom come. So I think, do I have another slide? Is that it? One more? Yeah, I think it was one more. So I wanted to play something to put you in a good little mood to laugh, okay? This has been fun, okay? Who else is here hanging out with me? And if you're watching on the replay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so can you play the video for us? I have something fun for us to watch. Silly, okay? Thanks for...
Police are looking for a man who ran away after robbing a store.
Crucial development, Bob. Police have just dispatched a sketch of the suspect. Have an update from police. Officers have now arrested the suspect moments ago. it really looks like...
Did you like that? It was just something funny because the Somalis, okay, oh my goodness, the Somalis over in Minnesota are really cutting up. But they have ruined it for themselves, okay? And it's meat time. F around and find out, right? It's F around and find out, you Somalis. And so, yes, the Somalis are being deported. Yes, back to Somaliland. And they said that God gave them Minnesota. I said Prince would beg to differ, even if he is not with us in this realm. Okay, so I'm going to go on that note. This is one of my new little kitty cats that ran up to me this past summer. She's not even 1 year old. This is Kimba. Remember Kimba, the white lion? Her name is Kimba. My mom named her Kimba. She remembered how much I loved that show. I used to cry when that show went off. So this is Kimba. I call her Little Kim, Kimby, and Kimmy Kardashian, Kat Kardashian sometimes, because she acts like a Kardashian sometimes. She is I don't know what she is. She looks like a Norwegian forest cat, which I'm calling her that, okay? She's a Norwegian forest cat. All right, Kimmy, let's say bye to everybody. Thanks for showing up. Happy so-called New Year. Bye, everybody. Take care. Love you all.